This is a lovely autumnal dish, and it's all about making you feel better when you're feeling a bit down, feeling a bit cold and a bit damp. So it's something that's really quick to put together. All you need is a bit of ginger. So I'm just going to roughly chop that. My mum used to make this all the time when we were a bit sniffly and a bit coldy. She'd miss the chilies out, but she'd put all of these other ingredients in, because in India they believe that when the seasons change like this is when you're more prone to getting sick. So they change the spices that they use in the food, because it's all about well-being and health and so on. So in with the ginger, I'm going to put in 3 cloves of garlic. And I'm also going to put in 1 green chilli. Whoops, a whole green chilli. I'm just going to roughly chop that up and just pop that straight in. And all I'm going to do is blitz that up so it's nice and fine and chopped up. It doesn't take very long, so that's what we're looking for, a really nice sort of consistency. I'm just going to push it down. And then into that, I'm just going to add half a tin of tomato. So it's about 200 grams of tinned tomatoes. You can also add a little splash of water, which I'm going to do, but you don't need too much because you don't want it too watery, but just mix that up again. There we go. So we're looking for a really nice thick consistency like that, and everything's whizzed up inside there. So before we cook that off, I've got my pan heating over here. I'm going to put a glug of just normal oil into there. And I'm going to put in some cumin seeds just to give a real sort of earthiness to this dish. Just a teaspoon of them, and just give them a little stir until they start to sizzle and start to smell aromatic. I'm just going to unclip this and just scrape out all of the bits that are in the lid, because I don't want to waste any of it. I remember my mum making this for my dad quite a lot when we were little, when he had man flu or man cold. But as soon as they start to sizzle and you can smell those lovely aromatics coming through, then I'm going to pour this in. Whenever you do this, please be very careful, because you're putting liquid into oil, so it is going to splutter. It's a little bit like a volcano. And just to make sure I get all of those last bits of the tomato from here, I'm just going to put a little bit of water in and just push that through. And then using my spoon, just stir that in. And we want this to cook just for a few minutes, just until the tomatoes and the garlic and the chilies all cooked, so it's lost its raw flavours. So I'm going to bring that up to a boil. Whilst that's heating up, I'm going to put in half a teaspoon of turmeric, because turmeric wards off lots of colds and flus. It's got lots and lots of health benefits. So we're going to put half a teaspoon of that in, and then some salt for seasoning. Give that a stir. It is supposed to be, and it will have, a fairly watery consistency, so it's not like a thick creamy soup. So just let that come to a boil, and then we're just going to turn it down just for a few minutes, just to simmer through and make sure that all of those raw flavours are cooked. So as that's come to the boil, I'm just going to turn it down and just let it simmer a little bit. This really reminds me of home and growing up. Whilst that's just finishing off, I'm just going to cut some very, very thin strips of ginger, or Julienne, which is a bit chefy for me, but I'm just going to chop those up. Just some really nice strips just to pop on top. And a little bit of fresh coriander. So you can see that's thickened up just a little bit, still fairly watery. And at this point, you can, if you want to, and if you prefer to have it slightly more watery, you can add a little bit of boiling water into there just to make it a bit more liquidy. I think that's a perfect consistency. I'm just going to have a little taste, because just make sure that the seasoning's okay, and make sure it's got the bite that I want it to have as well. See, there's no way that's not going to make you feel better. It wakes up your mouth, it wakes up your taste buds. It's lovely. See, food isn't just about food, it's about well-being, it's about health, it's about all of those lovely things. So I'm just going to pour that all into my bowl. Get those last bits out. Top that off with my ginger and my coriander. Normally I would have that with some roti or naan or whatever, but whenever you're feeling a bit ropey and you can't be bothered to make those things, you know, a good old pita bread will do, so just give that a little dunk. Taste of home. If you want to give this dish a go, have a look on my website. All the details are there, but make sure you subscribe to YouTube and check out all the other recipes are on there, and just get in the kitchen and enjoy the cooking.